All right, there we go. Now we're cooking. Let's get rid of that little logo on there. Apparently that bad boy is wanting to stay. There we go. That's off. Still testing out some new technology, but I'm not hearing my audio on this one either. You do? So I'm coming across on YouTube. Okay. So now I'm going to say, Nick, talk and see if we can hear your audio. So start talking right now. Okay. So if we're doing this right, we should not be able to hear your audio. So once I say that, listen for the delay down, see what happens. Did it come across or no? Nick? Okay, good. Because when I said, Nick, go, then you started going. So you should have heard something right after that. No. I don't. If you didn't hear yourself, we didn't hear you. You've been talking the whole time. You can't hear yourself on it, then you're definitely not on it. All right. So let's go. Let's throw up us. Why isn't that working here? Let's throw that STIX graphic on there. And now let's bring a new guest to the show. Okay, so actually, boom. Here we go. All right, Nick, we are going to bring you onto the show now. Graphics. Let's go. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. All right. And then we are coming over to you now, Nick, in the studio. Welcome, Nick Smith, the informative fisherman.
What's up? What's up?
And then take a look now. Look at yourself if you can see yourself on the.
I'm still
so
seeing you.
your camera puts a pretty good wide angle lens because we could definitely get a lot closer and zoom down a little bit on you.
Oh, there I am.
All right. So nothing's going to happen. I hope you're not waiting for something to happen because we're waiting for you to do something.
Well, I'm actually watching the YouTube broadcast.
All right. So why don't you talk us through some baits real quick, and we can test the quality of the stream as it comes through here. Show us this Nico rig, this secret, super special Nico rig.
So check this out. Everybody's always talking about bullet weight. I mean, not about bullet weights. They're talking about nail weights, okay? Nail weights are relatively expensive. So what I've done is I've taken a bullet weight and I crazy glue them onto the end of my plastics, and then I go up just beyond the middle of where the air bladder would be, or where the middle of the bladder would be on a plastic worm, and I wacky rig it like so for my Nico rig. Now, a lot of people are asking, why would you throw a Nico rig over a drop shot or a shaky head? And the simple matter is, on a shaky head, it's a little bit bigger of a hook. When they're biting it really finicky, it's really nice to have a light wire hook and a weighted head. The benefit here is it can fall down into silt, and it can fall down into grass, And even though that much of the head is in there bumping the bottom, you still have this amount of tail out here working, drawing a lot of attention. And when they come and barely suck it up, that light wire hook hooks them a real high percentage of the time. So that's why I do that crazy glued bullet weight on the end of my plastics with a little finesse hook for a lot of my light line Nico rigging. Very cool setup. If you haven't tried that, you should.
All right, Nick. I'm trying to see if I can't. So there's supposed to be a feature that I can pull over Facebook comments. As people comment, that I can throw them over on the show.
Okay, let's figure that out. That sounds cool.
Okay, but actually now let's start. Why don't you break down your lake right now?
So I'm not sure that any of that was actually received.
Okay.
So why don't you break down the lake again here?
Okay.
We're now doing the flyover right now,
Okay. So the lake I live on is a 20-acre private lake. It's a little man-made lake made up of a few different coves, relatively featureless aside from a couple of fountains and quite a few boat docks surrounding the edge. The nice part about these man-made lakes is generally any sort of structure or cover is going to be right on the bank, which is nice if the water's high enough or the water's a little bit dirty. That means these fish are going to feel comfortable to eat right on the shoreline, even though you could drive a boat down the shoreline and look and clearly see there isn't a fish. But if you're making a cast far enough to where you're not spooking them, those fish that are going to want to actively feed are going to be right near the shoreline. I also have deep submerged trees for the summertime and wintertime when those bigger bass feel more comfortable being out deeper along the bottom. My lake actually is 12 foot deep out in the middle, and most of the coves are about 6 foot deep on average. So this lake's made up of northern strain and Florida strain bass. And how I go about targeting them at my lake is really different. When it's cooling off, I'll tend to target the northern strain bass and cover the whole lake fast. Move around with like a square bill or flip a wacky rig. Not do much with it. Pitch it in, get it out, pitch it in, get it out, to where I can cover that water and find those fish faster. And the reason why I'm looking for them faster in regards to northern strain bass versus Florida strain bass is they're much more nomadic. They're going to roam and find their food. Where a Florida strain's going to tend to hang out in a certain area, but they can shut down if it cools off a little bit. So that's kind of how I break my lake down. I'm like addicted to watching.
Yeah. For some reason, Facebook is now not doing anything. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, good. We got it going on Facebook. It's going.
This is cool. For those of you actually watching, don't expect anything too spectacular. This is just a test day if you didn't read the title.
Yes. Okay, so now, Nick, I've now got you on the baits here that we're going to be using. Why don't you talk about the baits we got going on here?
Alright guys, now a few of the baits that I've been using out on my lake lately. It's interesting, in January we had this warming trend where they were biting a crankbait a lot, but then all of a sudden the cold weather came. You heard about this nationwide chilling going on? The whole nation's just chilling. Well, what happens is when things start to cool off, you generally got to pull out the finesse baits. And my lake got up to about 57 when they were eating the reaction. Now it's almost down to 50, 49 degrees. So, good old faithful drop shot. I got the finesse stick right here rigged up with a drop shot. Really light wire, size 1 hook to a 4-inch wacky rig zoom trick worm to a 3/16 ounce drop shot weight. Now, in regards to my weight, I'm always using just enough weight to where I can feel tension in the line and I can feel that I'm making contact with the bottom. The benefit there is if a fish comes and sucks up your bait, if he doesn't feel a lot of weight, he's much more likely to hang on to your bait for a longer period of time, alerting you that that fish has your presentation. The reason for the lighter wire hook and 6-pound fluorocarbon, might I add, is you're going to get a natural, much more natural presentation with the undulating movement of that worm. The smaller hook, they're not going to notice as much, therefore your bite percentages are going to go up. You're going to get more finicky fish to trigger the lighter and the more natural you look. My water visibility is about 2 foot deep currently, so I have a little bit of like a more natural look. I would go for a much more solid or darker color worm if the water was dirtier. And one thing you're going to notice, you're going to see that this is only about 5 or 6 inches, this dropper right here. When it's winter time, I tend to be 6 to 10 inches off the bottom, even when they're suspending. So what I consider that is right in front of that bass's nose. Lands, it's sitting right there. If it's wiggling or dragging, you're likely sitting right in their strike zone. You don't want to try to encourage them to go up outside of their strike zone. When they're cold, they're probably not going to. So sitting right in front of their nose is going to trigger a lot of extra strikes for you. Now, I did talk about the Nico rig earlier, and I'm going to explain something here. Is a 1/0. It's going to allow me to pull on that fish a little bit harder because, like I said, I'm throwing to a little bit heavier structure and cover. And when I hook that fish, I want to get a little bit more lifting power on them. That's why I put that on the hybrid spin. It's a little bit stronger than the finesse stick, but if there's nothing around, I can get away with that lighter line and get a lot more bites on the finesse stick. But if I need to, I have a great option for going heavier and pulling a little bit harder with the hybrid spin. Now, if I'm looking for a kicker bite, hook set, or if I'm fishing deeper, I like the reactions. Wintertime fish. I'm going to land this swim bait down on the bottom and I'm going to slow roll it. It's going to come through. I'm going to feel the tension, and I have a nice big taper in this reaction stick, a nice soft bend up in the tip. So I'm going to feel it, and then all of a sudden you'll feel that. All of a sudden you'll feel slack line. Okay, a slack line is when that fish comes up and he grabs your swim bait and moves forward towards you. It's going to drop slack into your line, or you're going to feel a pop instantaneous and then slack. What you're always going to want to do when a fish grabs your swim bait is start reeling fast to where you feel that tension on the line, and then you're going to get this nice big sweeping hook set. This is not a big stout hook. I don't need to use the surface stick or the power stick for this particular presentation. Remember, I told you it's getting colder. They're not as aggressive, and that's also why I throw that on the reaction stick. That's what I've been getting them on. How did that sound, Travis Moran?
Looks good. It looks very good. I'm still learning how to use all this stuff on the studio side.
Okay.
So, I may have cut you in and out that whole time.
That's fine.
Because I got to figure out how to keep audio coming, even if you're not on the screen, how to make your audio still come through. Or, for instance, my audio come through right now.
Right.
When I'm not, actually, my video's not on the screen. Let's see here. And yeah, it's not letting me upload these comments, which would be really cool.
I'm all huddled up over here.
There is really cool little overlay options for the poll. And those are pulling straight off of Facebook.
Awesome. The poll's going to be really cool for you guys. If I'm out fishing and Travis wants to do a play-by-play, you guys can vote on my selection, and then I'll just basically let you guys video game fish myself. Like, you want me to do something different? You can vote on it. It'd be really neat.
Or say, should get jump in the lake.
If it's warm enough, I'm for it.
If we get 100 likes, he's going in the drink.
What's the dealio?
Alright, so that's one to work on. Alright, I think we got what we needed here.
You sure?
Yeah. STIX. rain outside?
A little bit. Not too bad. You want me to take it out there?
Yeah. Might as well be like the one last day is,
It's on Wi-Fi, so let me switch to LTE and see if that interrupts it.
All right, I'm going to test the audio on this. Hello, hello, testing, testing. Try the audio from the studio. Hello, hello, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, everybody. We are live, testing out the new equipment. We're waiting for Nick to come back up. He is going to test his connectivity. Like I said, this is just a test today. We are practicing with some new equipment that we have to see how these live broadcasts can go. So hopefully we'll bring you some live fishing in the near future. Yeah, nothing. All right, why don't you hang up and rejoin? There we go. Oh, wow, look at that. We are fishing.
Life changes. Look at that. We are live on Nick, the Informative Fisherman's boat. We got some beach balls.
So these are actually, it's been a windy storm. Now, if people don't know how to keep birds off of stuff you don't want them to poop on, you get a beach ball, big heavy weight.
Hold on, Nick. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
For some reason, the screen is all manipulated like it's zoomed in. Did you actually hit zoom in?
I don't think so. Nope.
There we go. What did you? It just zoomed back out.
I don't know.
Now it looks good.
I didn't do it. It's a lovely day. What do you think, Bailey? Bailey. Tell him, Bailey. Say hi, Travis. Hi, Travis.
Where is he?
Oh. He's going to look. So
all right, that stream's coming through. Great, man.
Okay.
Oh, now it zoomed in again. Oh, you know what's happening, Nick? Are you changing how you're holding the camera?
Yeah.
Meaning, like, are you putting it vertical or horizontal?
No. I'm staying.
Look down again. Yeah, it zooms in. Oh, maybe it just flipped over? No, it zooms in when you do that. It's all distorted.
Really?
And then come out, and now it went back.
Amazeballs.
It has something to do with you know, the balance of the phone. Like if it's just wondering if you're in a what mode you're in, if you're vertical or horizontal.
Crazy.
Because actually, if you turn it now vertical, it should go to a, yeah, now it goes to up and down mode.
Okay.
So yeah, so keep it sideways. Yeah, switch back. Good. But yeah, when it goes down, for some reason, that's when it zooms in.
Yeah, pulled out the Glock and I turned it sideways. Let them know I meant business. Got the power bolt down so I won't lose the boat. Let's see if the bilge will come on if we shift some water over.
Oh, we're zooming.
Oh, yeah, I can't look down. That's right. We have a no look down rule.
Or you got to come down with the phone. You can't look straight down.
Okay, let's try that.
You got to come down like a boom.
Let me crouch it.
There you go. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so that works.
Yeah, that's pretty good feed, man.
Yeah.
All right, so stand on the back of your boat and look towards the front.
Okay.
Let's see what it's going to look like while you're fishing.
Whoa.
Dude, really cool.
Awesome.
So, and then you're on your dad's phone right now, right?
Yeah, Bailey, act like you're fishing. Good boy.
And then, so yeah, you and I will be able to talk to each other on the other phone, and I'll be able to tell you what angles we're on and stuff.
Nice.
All right, man. I think we're at a wrap, dude.
I gotta go hold a fancy table so my wife and I can enjoy some prime rib.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, man. I'm gonna end this feed. And I'm gonna look through it again and stuff, and then make some changes. And once the weather clears up a little bit, we'll do some live fishing streams.
Sounds good. Woo! This mud stinks right now. Woo, whoo, whoo.
Dude, I would think your lake is higher. Are they letting a bunch of water out?
Yeah, we're working on the wood. They're replacing some dry rot.
Oh yeah, the storms. Good.
Yeah, no, it's funny because the water line was out here a couple days ago, but all this rain, it keeps jumping back up on them.
Dang. All right, dude. I'll call you later. I like that grass, dude.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt Tozer.